This is just mesmerizing. Thank you so much for giving us this opportunity, for showcasing KG, for showcasing what we've done. I have no words. We've got to talk about next time where we get maybe New York Stock Exchange. So Kaz has asked me to come in today to talk about KG as a case study, as well as give a few points on sponsorship and revenue generation, which is what we call it. I have to say that as a company, we've raised millions and millions of rands for sport, for big sporting brands. But the most rewarding has to be, and you know, when KG says we do this pro bono, that's not true, because she gives us so much. It might not be monetary, but she gives us so much inspiration. So that's far, far more valuable than money can buy. So thank you, KG. I want to start off with a few sponsorship points and end off with a few sponsorship points, and then we go into KG's case. But I want us to think about these points while we listen to KG's case. And really, sponsorship is misunderstood. A lot of sporting bodies, athletes, feel they're entitled to sponsorship, and that's not the case. No one's entitled. No one is to give you money. You have to look introspectively, really, and make yourself as market-worthy as possible. It's not a given. My aim is to move it forward and reaffirm that sponsorship is a very, very strategic marketing discipline rooted in business principles. Sponsors want a return on investment, unless it's CSI, and that's definitely not what we went for with KG. We went for sponsorship with a return on investment because we all know that sport is a vehicle to market. Sponsorship is amazing and multifaceted. I've been doing it for a few decades, and I love it. It's reflective of changes in society, and it changes all the time. Media changes all the time. With social media, things have changed substantially. And it's important to learn every day. You know, no one knows everything, and every day, still at this stage in my career, every day I learn something new. So as athletes, as sports bodies, as media, we learn every day. So let's not forget that. So I want to start on KG's case. Where is Gugu? With a discovery video that really encapsulates how we, can we say, sold? How we sold or how we marketed KG. Never, ever did we market her as a disabled athlete. We marketed her as a champion, playing tennis, who by chance was on a wheelchair. In fact, you won't hear me say disabled very often in this presentation. So I'm going to start off with this, Gugu and Discovery. Thank you for this. It's very, very powerful. And it's a bit dated. KG and I and Optimze have been working together for 5 years now. She came to us in 2018. So this video is from 2020. So it's a bit dated. She's got a lot more accolades under her belt.
Please take your seats quickly, ladies and gentlemen.
They preempted the success. Now that you know who she is, what's your take on the world? And that's exactly what's happened. So Discovery bought into our vision quite early on. I want to look at this case. When we started, we coined our vision and our mission, #Road to Greatness. How it all happened, so as KG explained, I was on radio, and we found out that she was a Wimbledon semi-finalist. and that she had no sponsorship and she was ready to give up. It happened by chance, and Lebo Motswele is responsible for that. And long story short, we did the research because at the time, I didn't know who KG Montjane was. I'm being perfectly honest. As I was on radio, I Googled, and then I thought, what? We did the research. She had succeeded and was ranked number 6 in the world. So we took KG on as a client. She met us the very next day. She came into our office. I mean, she blew us away. She was just so positive. You think of disabled sport and you immediately think, oh my God, we've got to feel sorry for her. She was the exact opposite. We felt sorry for ourselves because she was just so positive. And we were just blown away, and she gave us that momentum. Excuse the pun. She gave us a momentum to really push ourselves. We pushed ourselves in a month and a half to really, she'd just come back from Wimbledon, all on her own, pushing her own trolley, checking in, carrying that wheelchair bag. She did everything on her own. And she'd just come back, and we said, no, we're going to get you to the US Open. So we embarked on a sustained and planned effort. So it looks like it was easy over the 5 years, but we really worked hard at this project. And the effort to turn her life around and generate awareness for her achievements became paramount for our company. So what were our business and brand objectives? Number 1, first and foremost, to generate funds for her. Then we needed to build a KG brand. We were just as guilty of not knowing who KG was. So we realized the need to build on KG's success and build her recognition, which is something we use so much in the G Sports Award. We had to create awareness of her and her abilities, and then create awareness of the sport. So what were our obstacles and what were our challenges? So we all know disabled sport is not well supported. There was no visibility. We're very lucky SuperSport, thanks to SuperSport, all the wheelchair Grand Slams are televised now, which is something that never was when we started in 2018. Sponsors were not keen to take on individuals, given the Oscar Pistorius story had just 2014, so it was a couple of years earlier. And she came to us in July, so as you know, all the budgets were spent already, so it was a challenge. Over and above that, we had societal challenges. Wheelchair tennis is not seen as a sexy sport. It's not taken too seriously. Support of disabled sport is seen as CSI. It's seen as charity. And, not a sponsorship that can offer a real return. Then there was lack of support for disabled sport in general, minimal media coverage and exposure, and the sporting body itself was unable to support and manage the athletes, as KG explained earlier. So how did we solve those problems? So we needed to build this brand, and we came up with a logo, which is there on the left-hand corner. Pink for her femininity, blue for her strength. We didn't include a wheelchair, but we kind of made a G so that it, intimated that it was wheelchair tennis. But it was important for her to become recognizable and become a motivational force that we knew she was able to be. We had tasted that. So we designed the logo. We went out on a campaign to market KG as a champion, guys. And this is something we're going to get back to at the end. We analyzed her expenses to see what she was spending her money on and what she needed for the future. And we went out and sought sponsors, but we sought sponsors with the same values, and that's quite important, excuse me, to link sponsor and property. And not to approach, not to approach sponsors that don't have the same values. I think that was very important. But eventually we solved the problem of trying to raise funds and make it, with professional assistance. So what we did, and this is really the strategy in a nutshell, she came to us, we created a brand, we came up with brand collateral, we did her website, we did a business card, we focused on her social media. There's a lot of work. This looks so simple, but we did so much work on this. We prepared a comprehensive sponsor proposal document, unlike the one that she had. We embarked on a very strong PR and media strategy. We tapped into all our contacts and gave her as much exposure as we could, approached the sponsors, and then we did the sponsor launch and send-off a month and a half after we met her. Sustained effort, PR and media all along while she was traveling. Then it just cascaded. More sponsors, long-term vision and plan in place. We do have a long-term vision for KG, for post-career, for her TV career, because we've got support from Billie Jean King and Sky TV. We've got we've got Solvay who've offered her a job in Belgium. I'm not sure if she's going to go there, but the Euros look good, so. So we really have a long-term vision post-career for her as well, and that's the circle of our relationship. So the activity plan was ultimately, obviously, to raise money for her. We built her brand as a marketing function, both from a practical point of view as well as a PR and media perspective. And once again, I'm repeating this, we positioned her as a champion, not a disabled wheelchair tennis player. So, yeah, here's an example. There's her business card, the front and the back. We wanted her to go to places where people would know her. So the business card became a very good brand-building tool. We did her website. This is a GQ shoot she did. That's why she's all made up and looking. Then we did, so this, if you look at this August 22, 2018, this is exactly a month and a half after we met her. We're ready to send her off, excuse me, ready to send her off and announce all the sponsors. And everybody came on board. It was just incredible. We prepared a wall banner with all her sponsors. We had an interview board with all the people that came on board. And I wanted to play this because it really encapsulates what the launch was all about. Now, depending on our Wi-Fi, this will play immediately or not.
It's the story of women doing it for themselves. The story of Khuthatso Monjane began with a high school teacher who used chairs as a tennis net for her to practice while in grade 12. Hitchhiking from Limpopo to Pretoria, where she won her very first tournament, to meeting royalty at the All England Club on the lush green grass of Wimbledon. Years of living on handouts have come to an end, and all it took was a group of women looking to do something good for one of their own.
KG's story is one of adversity. It's one of making it through thick and thin. It's one of blood, sweat and tears. How it all started is that I got a phone call to say, can you help her find sponsorships? That was 2.5 weeks ago. But it's amazing how many women are actually involved. Besides KG herself, you've got WDB, Women's Development Bank. You've got Casaletti Inc., the law firm, which is women's run. Optimze is women run. There's so many women involved in this success story. It shows you that women sticking together can be truly, truly strong, and we can achieve.
Welcome news from Monjane's coach, who missed his players' semi-final berth at Wimbledon.
For the foreseeable future, she can focus solely on tennis-related issues and not have everything else going on in her head, which for an athlete is obviously very important.
And with that load off her back, Monjane has set her sights on the future.
Having to worry that when is my next meal, when is my next tournament, when is my next flight, I just want to say I thank you very much for what you have done. And I just hope we can engage more on a long-term, negotiations so that I get to Paralympics in 2020.
Close to 2 million rand in sponsorship was pledged to Monjane over the next financial year, beginning with a 4th trip to the US Open Grand Slam tournament, which begins on Monday. Thabiso Sitola, SABC News, Johannesburg. It's the story of women doing it for themselves. The story of Khuthatso Monjane began with a high school.
Yeah, so that's close to 2 million rand in a month and a half we managed to raise for her. Oh, that's gone way ahead. Sorry. So the sponsors that came on board really were Otterbock with her prosthesis. That's worth what a small car is worth. Dunlop came on board with rackets and tennis balls. You didn't have to buy tennis balls anymore. We had Audi with a beautiful car in Polokwane. Lotto came on board, Lotto clothing. And the funny thing is that after a year with Lotto, Nike came knocking. And we had asked them initially, but Nike came knocking and made an offer. And we said, no, thanks. Either you double it or you're not coming on board. And they doubled it. So Nike saw the prospect and bought into our vision. And Discovery, again, I have to show you this Discovery advert because they've really invested in KG and helping us with positioning her. And her story is too good not to be told. So if you can play this.
You know what? The emotion started when I'm giving birth to her because it's her firstborn. I say, why? Why me? Emotionally, it was painful.
Being born with disability, it's not an easy thing because already the world have a perspective about you that you can't do certain things. It was different from other kids because they used to just like stare at me and not want to play with me. And as a child, you don't know why other kids are being like that.
I think in her wildest dreams, she never thought she would play tennis.
I think the first time they said I should go to tennis, I actually ran away. I ran away from the group.
First time I saw her, I was quite impressed because she was quite a natural. When you drop the first ball and somebody hits it and you just say, wow, there is talent over here. This is a player for the future,
I like the struggle because that's what actually keeps me going. That's what makes me a better person. Because I think if there were no struggles, then it would be easy, and that's what shaped me as a tennis player.
What a great outcome for Khutatso.
She wants to be the best that she can be. She is constantly working harder and harder every day to make sure that she surpasses some of her wildest dreams. I always tell her that she's too humble about her successes. She is one of the best, and she's going to be the greatest.
I really believe what I'm doing will really inspire and give hope, mostly to those in the disadvantaged areas who don't really think they can come to the city and make it.
In South Africa, is a shining star in the world, is a shining star in the Munjanis family. We are proud of KG.
Thank you, Discovery. It's so wonderful to have a partner like you on board. Straight after coming back, COVID hit us, and unfortunately, KG couldn't move, she couldn't travel. It was quite a setback. But we looked at all the things that would make her career, would improve her performance on the field, because we're doing so much off the field. We needed to look at what we could do. Since these videos, we've changed coaches. Like all the men in your life have all been dumped, right? Have all been fired. So what she needed to perform better was a new wheelchair. So we went to Max Steel, and another huge expense. These wheelchairs, you don't buy at clicks. These are really, really expensive wheelchairs. And Max Steel sponsored it. You can see during COVID, because we're all wearing masks, and we launched it. Thanks to the Deputy Minister of Sport was there as well. And then just new sponsors kept coming on board. Avon, we signed Avon, which is great fun for us. And they're also a wonderful partner. They keep giving us products. Thanks to Avon, we look good, KG. Solvay was a wonderful sponsor for us. It's a Belgian-based company, chemicals and solutions. This interview that's here is 4 minutes long. I'm not sure if we've got that time. We're just going to run through it. But it's interesting to see KG's confidence from the first interview at the launch and this interview now, which is fantastic. We won't play it. Oh, maybe a minute. And then we'll cut it.
I think I have a story to really inspire others. So that's why I believe it's really important of me to really share myself and not keep myself to myself. Yeah. Yeah. We never had opportunities as people of color, but the more there's representation of us, the more that will open more doors, then more people will realize our existence, you know.
Could you please describe for us one of the toughest challenges, really tough? Maybe you felt it as a failure you have had to overcome in the world of tennis and other worlds, and what you learned from it.
Look, for me, my biggest challenge in tennis, it has always been, you know, the issue of funding or finances, because for me, I didn't know how much tennis is demanding financially. I just thought it's nice that I'm going to a trip. I didn't know how much it goes into that until it was my own challenge when they say, we don't have money to fund you. And I'm like...
Thank you. I just wanted to show the difference already in the confidence. And this is an interview in Antwerp in Belgium. So you can see how comfortable she is already, the growth over the years. Right, then Isuzu came on board and gave Audi, that came to an end. Isuzu came on board and gave us a beautiful 4x4 car. Ongoing media and PR effort. KG is wonderful in terms of attending to media. She will drive from Pretoria. Last night she drove from Pretoria to SABC for Metro FM, for Andile, drove back at night. She's here this morning. She really honors all her commitments. She gets there before me. It's supposed to be the other way around. She, you know, our work was made that much easier by her professionalism and her dedication. So that has to be mentioned. I wanted to just touch on Billie Jean. So Billie Jean, obviously KG made an impression on her, and she's been helping us in the US with speaking engagements. It's always nice to get that extra income. She's been helping us with Sky TV, her and her team. And she's been helping us for a hitting partner, because, as you know, KG travels without her coach, and she needs a hitting partner when she arrives at the Grand Slam. So Billie Jean's partner, Ilana, has been, I mean, talk about high-class hitters. We've got, like, the best hitter to help us. So she's been a great, not only motivational force behind us, but also a great practical help. Whatever we need, we call her, and she's there for us, her and her entire team. So in conclusion, really, it's imperative that we mention KG and how inspirational she is as a person. She's just, I can't say enough good things about her. Her attitude is infectious, makes us feel bad. It's a reality check. You know, you tend to live your life and think about all your problems, and then KG brings you back to what really matters. You know, we proved that with the right marketing strategy, with the right team, and working together in unison, we can achieve. So I think this is a success story with a lot of hard work, a lot of perseverance, and really the resilience of the human spirit. I wanted to talk about a couple of takeaways on sponsorship over and above Dr. Day's, Professor Dr. Day's staircase. I think it's very important and I'm talking from the point of view of rights holders, meaning athletes and sporting bodies, to have a bit of introspection. You know, more often than not, you hear on radio associations saying, no, sponsors, we can't get sponsors, we need sponsors, sponsors, get off your butt, sponsor us. And it's not about that, it's also about making yourself, looking at yourself and making yourself more marketable. So introspection is key. You need to look at yourself. If you're a team, you need to look at your leader. People buy into the whole package. And, you know, without fixing those few things, it's difficult to find sponsorship. I think sponsors want to embark on a journey. They want to come on board with a champion. They want to know your vision. You might not be a champion immediately, but if your vision is, you know, that you are going to become one, I think sponsors do want to come on board. Don't, and to KG's point, the pity party. You say pity party, pity factor. We can't go in there and say, oh, we're women and we need sponsors as well, men. That must go out of the door. We need to go in to say, this is where we are. This is how much exposure we're going to give you. This is what we can do to market your brand. And I think that mindset needs to change. Positivity is key. Athletes need to walk the talk. KG is a perfect example. She's so truly professional. She walks the talk with every action. You'll never see, if you look at her social media, she's not driving with her cell phone on, chatting. You know, I mean, her car sponsor would go mad if they saw her driving and chatting on and live Instagram. We were talking about this the other day. There's certain things of your personal life that's not necessary to put out there, you know, and her humility is what makes her what she is today. And she doesn't need to show off about her magnificent house that she's just bought and all her tackies in her cupboard, you know, because that's not necessary for public consumption. You don't want to show that to people. So be careful with every action. Social media is a double-edged sword. It can help you, but it can also cut you. And then perseverance, you know, small shared gains. Whenever KG wins anything or she loses, we're back at the sponsor. Gugu will know. We go to her even if we've lost. We say to her, unfortunately, we didn't make it through. So they're part of our journey throughout. And I know I've simplified it. I don't have that much time. I've taken too much of my time, of your time. And I wanted to end off with this message, the power of the human spirit. And I think that's what's key in this entire 5-year story. The human KG's spirit is very powerful, and that's what's gotten us where we are today. Thank you.
Sorry, Amy, before you leave, we can't let you go. I mean, an award-winning brand strategist. We've just seen the incredible work that you've done. There is one question from Pumeza there at the back. Pumeza?
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. Emmy, I wanted to just touch on this part of what Khutazo was saying and also what you were talking about throughout your masterclass. And I was amening, hallelujahing a lot of what you were saying. My question touches on the business side of sports and ensuring that your sports talent, understands that they are a business. As much as they love what they do and they're passionate about it, but it's the long term. What are we doing long term when you retire? What do you leave behind and how do you choose to do that? And various sports people go in different directions. How do you advise your talent to start thinking about those things and not just thinking about the now, about the sponsorship now, the gains now? How do you help them journey along what they would like to do in terms of their legacy, and also what Khutazo was talking about in terms of the plans that she has, but from the body of knowledge, especially the academic side of things when you're talking about sports, that's not touched on a lot, and that's something that's really important. So how do you navigate that world of contributing to the body of knowledge, but also helping sports talent think of their lives afterwards when they've retired? Thank you.
It's a lot easier for me. I'm married to a former sportsman. But there are far too many examples, historical examples of sports people who have been left by the wayside because they haven't taken care of their future. So unfortunately, that does help us because it's almost like a threat. You don't want to be where that person is today, begging after having achieved so much. So KG already came preset with that mindset. That's the beauty of KG, but not everyone is preset with that. And it's important to sit people down and really have the serious conversation, to say, you're this age now, you don't have long to go, slowly we need to wind down and look at what the future holds. I think I'm a strong believer that sporting bodies should have sports people in them. We should have sports people on the board of SA Rugby, on the board of, on the exco of SAFA. I mean, and you don't see that. And as much as people say sport is a business, we mustn't forget the sports people because it's in their blood and they will run the sport. You can always hire business people to help you, in our case. But the love of the game needs to be in the hands of the people who are on that field, who are on that court in the blood, sweat and tears. So the business story, I think, you can outsource to business people. You need to understand your worth. So I don't know if that answered your question now.
Thank you so much, Amy Casaletti Bwalya. And I think we can all agree we've just seen it pan out in front of our eyes how much of a dream team they are and the amount of work that has gone into the brand that is Kgothatso Montjane to make her the incredible champion that she is. And so many moments. I think at some point we felt like someone was chopping onions somewhere around the corner, but we're here, we're back. Just a last round of applause for Amy and Kgothatso Montjane.
Thanks.